So there is a reason why you clicked on this specific episode. How to care for yourself, how to extend kindness. Maybe you feel the need of extra kindness right now, at this moment, today, or this week. And I'm really glad that you did. So welcome to the episode of On Emergence on how to care for yourself. I'm going to talk quite extensively about a framework known as 5 languages of love, or 5 love languages. This concept was initially developed by Gary Chapman, a writer of a book called 5 Love Languages. The book was written in 1992, and since then it's gained quite a lot of traction and interpretation among different communities around the world. The main thing to understand is what is a love language. Love language is how you communicate love and care to someone you love. Today, I had to record this episode in my language school here in Guatemala in a small village called San Marcos. So you might hear some background noises because there's some construction work going on in the background and there are people taking Spanish classes around me. This is the best place I could find, so heads up for some strange noises in case you hear them. I'm going to expand more of how I personally use the love languages to extend the care towards myself. Because, well, if I don't care for myself, then I can't show up to other relationships in my life in the best possible way. So it's very much like in an airplane that you need to take care of yourself first before you help others. So in this episode, I'm going to use the framework of 5 love languages. And these 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Let's start with an easy one, gifting. Now, how do you show love to someone you care about? It's through gifting. Easy, because you go to the shop, you buy something that you think the other person will love and resonate with, or maybe that's a way how you express care for them, and you buy them a gift. Whether it could be a candle, whether it could be a car, whether it could be whatever that you feel is going to resonate with them is how you express love. The second language is the physical touch, physical affection. It can expand into hugging, into kissing, into being physically affectionate with someone you love and care about, depending on what your relationship is like. You know, with your partner, it could be physical intimacy and various aspects of it. With a friend, you hug them, you care, you hold them. So it involves a physical touch. The third language of love is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is when you tell someone how you feel about them and how much you appreciate them. As, for example, would be to tell someone you love them, or to tell someone that you care for them, or to tell someone that they've done a good job. So to your partner, you might say, I love you, or you look really good today, or I really appreciate your effort on XYZ. So you affirm your love through words. The fourth language is quality time. And quality time, it is in the name, is if you love someone, you spend time with them. The fact that you dedicate your time and you dedicate your attention in spending them, this is how you express love to them. This is how you express that you care. And the fifth language is acts of service. This is how you express love to someone through acts of service. So whether you do the cleaning of the dishes for them, even though it was their turn, whether you're doing a chore that you know your loved one was avoiding, for example, if your partner needed to have their car fixed, but they really didn't want to take care of it, you take the car to the service as a way to express love to them, express care for them. Now, that's all very clear when it comes to expressing love to others, because you can buy gifts to someone you love, you can hug them, you can touch them, you can spend quality time with them. But it becomes really interesting is when you use this concept, when you use this framework to express love and care for yourself. Because if you're not expressing love and care for yourself, you're ignoring the most important person in your life, and that is you. You cannot show up in the relationships in your life in your best possible way if you don't know how to take care of yourself. The reason being is because if you don't know how to care for yourself, you will always rely on others to provide that care for you. And that means you're always dependent on that external feedback, external support. And it's great that you get it. It's great if you have it in your life. It's great if you're present, if you have a partner, if you have a friend to care about. But there could be moments in your life where this support is not available. And it is very important to know how to give that support, how to give that love and care for yourself. And I don't mean this in this kind of very spiritual out there way. I mean it in a very basic terms, because when you're not dependent for someone to give that external validation, external support, external care and kindness, and then you're able to give it for yourself, then you're not placing the pressure on the other person to provide that care, love and support to you. Then you show up in that relationship fully because you want to, not because you're dependent on them to give something to you, to support you. So let's look at each language individually as how, with some of the examples, and how you can extend that love and care for yourself first. So gifting, this is actually quite an easy one when it comes to caring for yourself. So if you know that your language of love is how you understand love best is through gifting, is when someone gives you a gift, you know that gifting is important. So you might have a wish list of things that you want to have, and following that wish list, following and treating it as a gift. So when you're shopping for it, you're really shopping for a loved one. Personally, I love books. So for me, books is the best gift, and the subjects of my interest vary. And whenever I go to a bookstore, it's like, a kid going to a candy store. For me, it's a gift for myself. And I actually ask the cashier to wrap the books in the gifting paper. I don't always open the books right away. Sometimes it can take me a week, sometimes it can take me a month, but I know that this is the gift for myself. It could also be an experience. An experience can then fall into two languages of love, because it's also quality of time. But for now, let's think about gifting and consider your wish list. What is it that you want to gift to yourself? And really treat it as a gift, if possible, with a gift wrapping. If money is a constraint in your life, you can think about little gifts that you can give for yourself, whether it could also be a candle, if you like candles, because not everyone likes, a candle is a very common gift. It could be a certain cosmetic product, it could be a new razor, and really treat it as a gift for yourself. So not as a chore, but because, for example, if you were really needing to replace your razor, if you're using the razor, and going to the shop and getting it as a gift and really shopping it is like, what kind of that I would want to use, what would be the most convenient, what would be the handle of the razor, and really treating it as a gift. So this is a very simple example how you can extend love and care for yourself through gifting gifts for yourself. It's also very important to notice certain patterns. So if you are trying to numb certain things by compulsive online shopping, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about is when you want to be treated in a kind way, and you know that your language of love and how you understand love from others is gifting. I invite you to approach the gifting for yourself with the exact same mindset as you would to a loved one, because you are your own loved one. Now, the second one is touch. One of the easiest examples that my therapist gave me is book yourself a massage. So booking yourself a massage is an easy one because it does involve touch, and it is gifting as well. So you're gifting yourself the experience of touch without involving the other person. You can also ask another person to give you the touch that you need. You can reach for a hug. You can ask a person or a partner or someone that it's okay to ask for a hug, to ask for that. And asking it already is an act of you gifting it for yourself. It is already act for you caring for your needs. Another way that I give myself the touch, because physical touch is an important love language for me, and it's a way for me to care for myself, is that I have anti-anxiety blanket. I'm going to put in the show notes my favorite anti-anxiety blanket. It's been invented by my friend, and she's a genius. It basically is a weighted blanket that is a bit heavy, and it imitates a hug. So it repeats the contours of your body, and it imitates a human hug. And what I really like about this is that it doesn't involve another person, because sometimes when I'm in need of a touch, I probably am overstimulated as part of me being neurodivergent. And reaching out for the blanket, it means that I don't have to rely on the other person to give that to me. Another favorite way of mine to express love and care towards myself through touch is placing a hand on my chest as a way to kind of express like, I'm here for you, I care for you. And if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see I'm doing this gesture right now. And that also expresses love and care that I need that moment. And it's readily available wherever you are. The third language of love. The third love language is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is something that you need to, it might feel a little bit awkward if you've never done it for yourself. And it is to acknowledge yourself for your effort. You don't have to look at the mirror for that. It helps when you look at the mirror, you kind of like, it engages your eyesight in that messages that you're giving yourself. But also if you've just done a piece of work, a project, or you completed a mini project, or you wrote an email that you've been dreading for a while, it helps to say, you've done a good job. So I would say, Laura, you've done an amazing job with this email, or well done on sending that email. And just giving myself that recognition, that words of affirmation, it supports me to do more as well, because for me, words of affirmation is another way that I understand the expression of love from others. So I also understand my own need to hear those words of affirmation from myself. Another example would be in the morning is for you to wake up and look in the mirror and to say you're beautiful. Or if it feels like a lie, if you don't feel beautiful, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't feel like giving yourself that authentic compliment, that authentic acknowledgement, give yourself whatever acknowledgement that feels authentic to you at the time. It could be then, well done on waking up, or well done on brushing your teeth. Any little thing that you can support yourself by engaging the words of affirmation is going to help you on giving yourself that love and support and care, so you can show up for others in your life, so you can show up in your life as a best version of yourself. Another simple example you can do is writing on mirrors. If you live alone, or if you're not conscious about your roommate, your partner seeing that, you can also write those words of affirmations around your house. So something that is a reminder, that would serve you as a reminder about things that you've done and things that you've accomplished. It also sometimes it could be helpful to hang your accomplishments as well. So any sort of milestone that you've achieved at work, it helps to hang it on the wall as a reminder of your own progress. And that would serve as word of affirmation. It would literally remind you through the words of your accomplishment and acknowledge your accomplishment to yourself. Next love language that you can extend to yourself is quality time. The quality time would be highly dependent as to what you like to do. It really helps to look at how you like spending time with others in order for you to understand how you would like to spend time with yourself. Now, it doesn't always mean running a bubble bath that is, quoted quite commonly, because it is actually a time for yourself. You're spending it with yourself on your own, in your bathtub, with your bubbles and your cup of tea of whatever you like. If that is how you like spending quality time with yourself, great. And if you know it, fantastic. If you don't know how you like spending quality time with a loved one, next time just think about how you want to spend time with a friend. What is it that you're suggesting? Whether it's going for dinner, whether it's going for movies, whether it's going for a walk in the park. The next time I invite you to do it yourself. So if you like going for movies, personally, I love going to cinema because I don't do it very frequently. But when I do, it's a time for myself because I'm not on my phone. I'm just with myself. I'm with the movie that I chose for myself. And that is the quality time I spend with me. Another thing that I like doing with my friends is going for walks. I love going for walks in nature. So I know that if I need a quality time with myself, I can go for a walk. Another interesting thing that I discovered a couple of years ago is that I spend quality time with someone I love and care about in conversation. So talking to them is something that I like doing, and this is how I connect, and this is how I express love. It's just me being present in whatever is my friend is going through. Now, when it comes to myself, I do it through journaling, because through journaling, I'm sitting down and I'm listening to what I have to say at that moment. So by taking a piece of paper and just listening to yourself, what you have to say without judging, it really helps at that point for me to have a playlist. I'm going to put it in the show notes, to have a playlist that kind of disrupts the judgment voice as you're writing your thoughts down. But for me, spending quality time with myself is writing down my thoughts and just listening to myself. So the way that I listen to a loved one and the way that a loved one listens to me is how I also do that same service to myself. So journaling for me is that quality time with me that I need. Another example of quality time would be therapy. So when you allow yourself to be in the space, when you offer yourself a space in therapy, even if it comes through the other person in therapy, a lot of the times is the other person holding a mirror and holding a space for you to explore who you are. So for me, my weekly or fortnightly, so every 2 weeks, therapy sessions is that quality time I have with myself. And it's one of the things that are absolutely non-negotiable for me. I schedule my life around that time because for me, the language of quality time, when someone spends time, is how I understand love the most. If someone is there, if someone shows up, it means that they love me. That is how my brain has been wired. So I know that in order for me to feel that I'm here for myself, that I care for myself, that I'm always here, therapy and journaling and giving myself space to listen to my thoughts and feelings and emotions in a compassionate way is one non-negotiable way that I show up and care for myself. And then one last love language remains is acts of service. Now, it really depends what is it that you need to be done. One of the ways that I look at it is that any DIY projects that I need to do is one way to look at it is a chore. It's like, oh, I need to do this chore, and I get annoyed and I postpone it. Another way that I trick my brain to, or I invite, it's not about tricking, I invite my brain to think about it, is this is the acts of service, the love that I extend and the care I extend for my future self. Because, for example, when I built my home office, I knew that I was building something for myself. That was an act of service for my future self or future Laura to be present in that office that I was building. So that kind of tweaks the mindset about doing the chores that you know you need to be doing. Another example would be cleaning. So one way to look at cleaning is as a chore. But if your loved one, let's say your partner, cleans the apartment for you, you would be probably happy. If you're like me, you would be very happy if someone cleans something for you, because I really don't like cleaning. But at the same time, when I need to do the cleaning myself, another way that I trick myself of thinking, so if I need to do the dishes in the evening, I think about it that I don't have to do it the following day, that I don't have to do it in the morning, that the future Laura, the future version of me is going to appreciate that acts of service. So this is the way that I care for myself. And it doesn't mean necessarily at this moment, because showing the acts of service for yourself can be quite hard in that sense, because you're kind of doing something that you may not like to be doing. But if you think about it in the terms of your present self is doing something for your future self, it really helps to get over that initial hurdle. Another interesting aspect of acts of service is making food. Cooking for someone I love cooking for my friends. I love doing big dinners, and this is the way that I express love to people I love. And cooking for them is taking that time. It actually combines a lot of the things. It's gifting, it's quality time, it's acts of service. But the way that I express acts of service in terms of cooking for myself, it is going to a restaurant. So I don't go to restaurants very often. For me, it's like a special occasion. And when I do that, I do it consciously, because for me, it's acts of service. It means that I liberate myself from the responsibility of cooking for myself. I'm gifting that acts of service of cooking for me. It could be a takeaway. I order takeaway because I do it and I gift it for myself. And it is all in the mindset, because one way you think about it is like, I'm just ordering takeaway. But another way is that it's an act of service for you, that you're doing a service for yourself, that you don't need to cook. If you live with someone, you can ask them to cook for you. And asking for that is also okay, or expressing your need to be cared for, to say, hey, how about you cook for me tonight because I'm really not in the mood, but in exchange, I will do something else, whatever that you feel like doing for them. So that is also another way to gift it to yourself. Even when you do need to cook, you can't go out for whatever reason, you don't want to order takeaway, is that when you cook, so when I cook for myself, Personally, I have like some easy go-to dishes. And when I make them with the mindset that I'm doing it for me as an act of love and an act of care and service. So rather than looking at it as a chore, you can look at cooking for yourself. I also love baking. So for me, when I'm baking for someone, it is a big act of love. So when I'm at home, oh, especially when I'm in my PMS time of my cycle. But when I'm in this kind of cocooning stage, baking for myself is the gesture of expression of love and care for myself. So just to recap, that the 5 love languages is a framework that you can use to express the care, to actually care for yourself in the times where it doesn't have to be a stressful time, but it could be in a challenging time, or it could be just a very helpful little toolbox that you have with yourself that you can tap into if you need that support. So first love language is gifting, how you can gift gifts to yourself. So whether it's buying something on your wish list, or even something that going shopping is if you're going to a supermarket and you see something that you absolutely love and is your favorite thing, not going to overindulgence, of course, and staying mindful of that, you can approach it with that mindset. But it does help to have a wish list. So for me, I have a wish list of books that if I need that little bit of love, I go there and I buy a book of that wish list as a way to express love from myself. Now, second language is touch, physical touch, and there are different ways that you can give it to yourself. It could be through booking a massage, is to have a weighted blanket, and it could be holding a hand on your chest as a way to tell yourself that you're here, to give yourself a hug. And it could also be, if you're watching it on YouTube, it could also be a physically giving yourself a hug. That is also possible. The third language of love is the words of affirmation, and the way that you can give it to yourself is to encourage yourself in the way that you would encourage a friend, even though at first it might feel awkward. So saying things is like, I like that skirt on you, or you look good, but only if you really do genuinely feel that you look good. If you were to see yourself in a mirror and you think that you look horrendous, don't tell yourself you look horrendous, but compliment something that you feel genuine about. Maybe it's complimenting your accomplishments and hanging your accomplishments on the wall as well. That helps as a way to extend a continuous love and care for yourself. The fourth language of love was quality time. And how you express that quality of time, how do you spend that quality time with yourself will vary. Some of the examples that I gave already is booking a therapy session as a way to offer yourself a space to explore and listen to your feelings. Taking yourself on a date, so going to a museum, if museum is your thing, going out for a walk in the park. If this is the way how you normally crave that quality time with a loved one, then it is your responsibility to find out what is that way that you want to spend quality time with yourself. Another example that I gave is also journaling, because it offers that space to explore your feelings, your emotions, your current state. Is a similar way of how you would listen to a friend sharing something that is on their mind, how you show up to your best friend, and you are your own best friend. And then the fourth and the final one is acts of service. And again, it depends on what is it that you need to have completed. So if it's a chore that you need to complete, it is about the mindset. So if you need to have your apartment cleaned, you can book a cleaner. If it's something that you can afford, you can book a cleaner and look at it as an act of service for yourself. As like, I have my apartment cleaned, and that is a gift that I give for myself, and be really, really conscious of that. Acts of service, it also could be a mindset that when you're cleaning your apartment yourself, personally, I think that this is a gift for my future self. So engage in this mindset of doing something right now for your future self. So the future Laura, in my case, she's going to have an easier time and more pleasant time in her home if the home is clean. So acts of service invites a shift in mindset in this instance. So these are the 5 love languages. This framework I find very helpful in the moments where I feel that what is it that I need? What kind of care that I need for myself? And at the beginning, when I was first exploring that framework, I've noticed like it didn't come really naturally to me, but it is a really good point of reference to start exploring what is it that you need. With time, it is going to become natural. It is going to become something that you just do automatically. So I know that I'm feeling a little bit like in my head or weird. What is it that I need? I need quality time with myself. I did not have enough quality time with myself. So I take myself out for a walk or a journal or book a therapy session. Or what is it that I need in terms of feeling cared for or feeling seen? Then I think about all the things that I've accomplished and all the things that I've done throughout the day or throughout the week or throughout the month. So it becomes the toolbox. I'm going to reference the framework, the show notes, and some of the things I shared in the episode in the show notes. And if you're watching it on YouTube, I invite you to leave a comment below with any thoughts and perspectives that you might have to share, any questions that you might have. Because like I always say, is that if you have a question, chances are the other or somebody else has the exact same question. It opens up a conversation, it opens up a discussion, and you no longer hold it within yourself. And also it's leading by example. By sharing something that is authentic to you, you invite others to do the same. And we create a more authentic open space by communicating about this openly. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to leave the comment below, to like this episode if you liked it, to leave any suggestions. You can reach out on my private messages on Instagram. If you're whatever platform that you're accessing this show, I invite you to reach out to me and start a conversation. My name is Laura Sagen, and I'm the host of On Emergence, a podcast on what it takes to be a human being.